ranging in size from 2 to 6 rooms. And then I'll touch on some of our other unique Belmond experience as well. So from Belmond afloat in France, you'll find our 6-night all-inclusive journeys begin with a warm welcome in Paris. So just after lunch on a Sunday, and we operate between, and I say generally, I should say, operate between April and October. So from Paris, our guests are transported through to their luxury barge, which becomes their home for the week. These once-in-a-lifetime journeys are truly immersive, and they're like nothing else that you could experience. So with our 7 luxury barges, we have a concept of like a floating villa. So with that, they're all inclusive. We've got our own private crew, and all the excursions are included. Wine, drinks, everything's all part of the tariff. So with such flexibility, I'm going to focus on what we do mainly, and that's exclusive charters. So let's explore what you can expect with us. So really having that luxury of choice is what I would like to say. You've got the ability to be, as relaxed as possible or as active as possible. So if you want to choose the leisurely option, you can, and perhaps even that means walking or cycling along the canal paths. Or if you want to get more active, we can give, serious cyclist guides, and they can go along for the longer routes, and they will have an escort with that longer ride is what I was going to say, the longer cycling paths. So the other thing I wanted to mention, that as our itineraries allow for so much flexibility, we can tailor make a lot of activities to suit guest preferences. So that could be wine, history, or art, just to name a few. So what I'd like to do now is just share some of those choices that guests have throughout the day. For the sake of beginning in the morning, as you can see from this beautiful first light image, you can have either a simple breakfast served on the deck, or something extravagant, which is hot and served in a manner of courses. It really is something that's quite special to begin the day, and it really eases you into what it is that's ahead. So for the sake of on board, I think what you'll find is enjoying that time again at your own leisure, and seeing how the day unfolds is really something wonderful. And even in those early mornings when you see the mist coming up over the water, it really does become something that really does stimulate your appetite for what's to come in the day. And I think it's really lovely, even if you take the opportunity to have an early morning coffee and watch, what's happening from, outside, from inside as well at that time. But one of the things I've really personally enjoyed is that when I've been on board, it's that mix of excitement, that anticipation of what's to come, and of course, and also a pure sense of relaxation at the same time. So that, sets the scene, I think, a little bit for you. And then there's nothing better than spending time with people that you've chosen to travel with. So for the sake of the charters, children are welcome. And absolutely, we have a lot of, as I guess Emma had said too, multi-generation families. But we also have, a range of activities for everyone in that party to enjoy. So whether it's games, whether it's the pool on those vessels that we have, and the barges do have mainly, a proper swimming pool on board, they have, games on and off that they can enjoy. And the other thing is that when you imagine, taking an exclusive charter like this, you really understand how many people are perfect for these sorts of journeys. And you can think about celebrations. So someone who's celebrating a special birthday, traveling with family or friends, or of course, multi-generation families, as we said. So you've got then that ability to stay close to home. So from the shore, it's just a hop, skip and jump to local villages. And of course, we've got all those lovely games that you can take on, to the banks of the canals, such as, you can see in these images here. And again, it just shows you, that those canals are so accessible to be, in tune with. So you can choose if you want to like walk or cycle down to the next, part of the canal where you're going to be met by the crew again, or you can sit on board and really take in that scenery. It's all up to you. for the sake of, you know, how you do it as well, it's really about what you want to do and what level of activity, you know, is your preference. So it could be on foot and it could be by bike. So these bikes are an example of what we have. And if there are children that are traveling, of course, we can arrange bikes that are size appropriate as well. The other option we find a lot of our guests take is to discover the local markets with our chef in the morning. So, you know, go out and understand, you know, what sort of produce is in there. And again, you know, that chef is going to be sourcing local delicacies and local in-season product that is going to become your meal, be it your lunch, dinner, or breakfast the next day. So the next part of what we do really well is to explore a little bit further afield. So while itinerary wise, we do give you a guideline when you make a booking inquiry, we do create a bespoke program from the conversations that guests have on arrival. So everyone's interests are taken into account. And this is really, I think, particularly important when we are, you know, talking about people with slightly different preferences and traveling together. So what the program then entails are exclusive visits to wineries and historic places of interest. And I think I saw some of Emma's slides being quite similar. So you've got Bone and, you know, beautiful castles, and of course the vineyards that are nearby as well. And all entry and everything's covered in doing that. And how we facilitate that is that our host on board is going to be more or less the guide as well, who does transport guests in a luxury vehicle. And that's going to give, you know, that flexibility to maybe, you know, involve some surprises along the way, or, you know, to divert a little bit off where a standard itinerary would, with traditional larger ships and different styles of travel. So I think these tailored daily discoveries really do immerse you. Like, you know, you can't, until you do this, I know this sounds terrible because I'm trying to give you the feeling, but this flexibility just offers so much. And it really, you know, as you can see in this photo here, allows for us to do, you know, romantic pictures like these guests had, and it takes you into different places that you may have, you know, expected to travel to or not. And I think that continuation of, you know, flexibility with a private charter is really what it's all about for most of our guests coming from this part of the world. So I feel, you know, something also really special is the warm welcome that you get when you come back on board. So you've had your time off exploring the region, and you've had, you know, all those lovely things to think about and first-hand experience. But I think what really makes it quite special is, you know, having that feeling again on your own private charter of coming home. So the team are well versed on a lot of things. The other thing is, you know, they can be as adaptive and, you know, available as possible, or they could be discreet. But as the day progresses, wining and dining really is a highlight of any cruise. And then in the evening, it's really about a 5-course candlelit dinner that really is a special treat. So each week, we generally have a menu that includes like chef's original recipes and regional specialties, again, I mentioned with local produce. And I think, you know, that really does conjure up a, you know, experience that's unique to that region that you're traveling in, that makes it quite unique and special in its own right. And for the dinner and where it's served, it could be either served in the, you know, inside in the dining room, or if weather permits, which it will a lot of the time, outside al fresco. The other thing on a lot of journeys just to be aware of, if you've got people who are foodies, as we might say, or are looking for something, you know, unique as a culinary experience, is that a lot of our itineraries do include a dinner at a Michelin-starred restaurant nearby too. So that kind of gives it a little element of surprise and different, you know, environment to enjoy when they do have that off-board experience for dinner one of those nights. From dinner, it's really interesting when you're on board because, of course, these are only small hotel barges. You know, they're like I said, between 2 rooms and 6. So when you finish your dinner, you're with, you know, your favourite people usually, you can have the opportunity to continue your night. So you've got the continuation of maybe having a game together. I remember playing, you know, some fun games, which you don't normally do, you know, in general days when we, you know, live our lives. But, you know, having all these lovely things on board really does bring that fun and, you know, variation to, you know, what you would do if you were staying in a hotel somewhere else, for example. But the other thing is you have got access to the bar, and you can go and help yourself to a nightcap. You might also feel that it's, you know, a beautiful night and it's a time that you could go outside and stargaze, because, you know, there's not going to be many other lights around. You're going to have that, you know, that exclusive area of space that, you know, the actual barge is moored at. So I think it just really opens up so many more dimensions of things that are just so special and memorable. And that's really what it is we do and want when we're traveling. So for the sake of regions, be it in Champagne, Burgundy, Provence, or Canal de Midi, and this is just a snapshot of France, we've got journeys of discovery in different canals. So they're positioned in delightful places, and those places that you can really immerse yourself, again, with those local villages and the local, you know, areas, be it vineyards or other. And it also gives, you know, guests an opportunity just to relax on board and to really just take in the comfort and the style. So let's meet the fleet. And as I've mentioned a few times now, our smallest hotel barge is 2 rooms, and our largest in the fleet is 6, and each and all of them have their own private bathroom. So let's move and have a look at what we've got to offer for Canal de Midi, excuse me. So on Canal de Midi is Alouette, and, you know, with the 2 rooms, it's perfect for 2 couples, or, you know, maybe a small family to travel together. And again, you know, this exclusiveness of having this whole experience to yourselves is really what it's all about. Just on that note, you know, I think you can see from the deck, it's a smaller vessel, literally, than the others. But having said that, it's just got a lot of room and a lot of space to enjoy as much as, you know, any of the other ones you're going to see. So for the sake of like dining and the sake of accessibility to all those things, everything's included. And I'll say, even though the look and feel of what you're going to be introduced to now does vary, the service level doesn't. So there's a certain consistency that we're proud to say really does come with each and every single one of these experiences. Then we move along to Burgundy, and this is where we've got 3. In particular, we've got, you know, I guess this first one, which is Fleur de Lis. And Fleur de Lis is literally a beautiful little, beautifully look. You can see from this image, you know, that the look and feel, again, like I said, is slightly different from hotel barge to hotel barge. But at the end of the day, it really does depend predominantly on how many guests are traveling as to where and which one you're actually going to select. And number 2 on that, I'll point out at this time, is what's available. So if you've got 3 couples or a family that's, you know, 6, for example, this is perfect. So what you do is look for the availability for Fleur de Lis first, I would say, unless you want to go up to a bigger one, and obviously the cost is appropriate there. But this is really a gorgeous little vessel, and beautifully appointed with really eclectic furnishings. So they come from different parts of the world, and, you know, there's all sorts of like little stories that go with a lot of these pieces as well. And of course, I will show you one of the bathrooms, and they do vary from cabin to cabin, but generally you get twin basins, and you'll either have a shower recess, and, you know, that could be a standalone, or a combination of the bath with the shower over the top in the different cabins. So other than that, we've got, located in Burgundy, is Amaryllis, and Amaryllis has 4 rooms and accommodates up to 8 guests. And how inviting does that pool look, by the way? So for the sake of, you know, the rest of the, you know, downstairs, for example, this is literally on the lower deck. The bedrooms or rooms are beautifully decorated. And you may actually see that, you know, when you look at this furniture, again, it is a little bit different to the 1 or 2, you know, before it, that there's antique furniture that we appoint this one with. So, you know, the palettes are a little bit different, and the look and feel again. However,
I was going to say, Karen, that we have a look at some of these pictures. This is, and some of the shots that Emma showed as well. This is not what I had expected when I first walked on a luxury hotel barge, because when you look from the outside, it certainly belies what you experience when you come on board. And
exactly.
Some of the pictures that you're showing, I'll just say that, you know, the room sizes with the furnishings and everything else, the same as what Emma was showcasing. It's just incredible, the difference between what you think is going to be on the inside and when you step on board. Sorry, I'll let you get back to it.
No, that's absolutely right. And this is the thing, it's surprising how spacious they are, considering what they go through literally when they're going through the different, different canals. And of course, when they're going, in through, the various areas, because they are generally much the same width, if that makes sense. But these ones, you'd be surprised, like Leela, that I'm just about to show you now, actually has the same deck plan as Amaryllis, but you can see it's a different palette that we've actually furnished it with. So also being in Burgundy, there's 4 rooms accommodating up to 8 guests, and it's got a more rustic feel. So you can see, again, just different furniture, but again, it's just really a matter of choice and what's available. So I wouldn't get, too much into what the furniture looks like, I think, because at the end of the day, they're all absolutely divine. So having said that, these pools, having the dining facilities inside or out by night, which, I haven't given you a huge amount of images, but the thing is the outside deck, the actual, that you can retract an actual screen as such, that gets, like if you want to have a little bit of, coverage or not, depending on, what the weather's like. So you really have the alfresco opportunity there too, in a contemporary look. And you can see that this bathroom is not small by any shape or form. It's actually quite amazing when you actually see the designs and actually board, as Walter, you said, these, and just you can't believe from the outside actually what space lies on board at all. So that's I think a little bit about how they work. But for the sake of Champagne, we've also got 2 hotel barges there. So Piv 1 looks a little bit like Leela, doesn't it? That's interesting because they are kind of sister barges, but for the sake of destination experiences, they are in different areas of regional France, and they really do, I think, create a more contemporary, relaxed feel when you're traveling, literally, than any other, when you see, like you were saying at the beginning of the presentation, any other bigger vessels, on the river or the canal as such. So 4 rooms, 8 guests. And I mean, seriously, I look at this image and I look at a lot of our images all the time and I think, how gorgeous would it be waking up to that view? Very rare as well to have that opportunity to do it. So for the sake of, the dining, as I mentioned, inside or out, weather permitting. So that's really, I think, a summary of what we have exclusively as charters. And I'm just going to now touch on a couple of other options for you. So we've also got in Champagne, Herondelle, and Herondelle is also an 8-room hotel barge. But again, this one can be sold either as a cabin only or by charter. So for the sake of, ideally, for you moving, with this, exclusivity factor, I think, if you can get in early, I would say, and you've got a party of up to 8, the charter option is perfect here. And the other one, like I said, we have some variations that are very slight, but for all the barges bar this one, the bedding is interchangeable. So you can either have the double setup or the twin. So you do have a lot of flexibility. The only one, as I say, again, that we don't have that flexibility with is Herondelle. So there's just a picture of a twin room for your viewing. And there it is there for you just to see, there's a slightly different feel to this cabin to some of the others that you've seen. And last but by no means least is in Provence, where we have Napoleon with 6 rooms. So Napoleon's similar. You can have it by the cabin or take it as a charter if it is available. And it does just have that room, and it does have enough room, in all due respect, for the 12.
Karen, just to clarify, that's 6 passengers, not 6 rooms. Is that right?
No, 6 rooms.
6 rooms, 12 passengers?
Yes, up to 12 passengers. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
So this is the largest of them all. So you'll just see the bedroom here. It's got plenty of room. But what I'm going to do now is just take you on a little journey, because we can't be in France right now, but let's just pretend we are for just a moment. Let's see how this feels. I hope that whets your appetite for what we do, because I smile when I see these things, because
I
it's
just want to say, get out of here. That's great. Sorry, I know I'm supposed to be professional, but yes, carry on. Sorry.
no, I can't. I get excited too. But I
Yeah.
think one of the leave behinds, if you don't mind me saying today, is really when you're considering these, for yourselves or your customers, is that to avoid disappointment, is that when you're potentially going to suggest these journeys, is that you check the availability first. And of course, the reason I say that is they've always been highly sought after, and they always get booked early. And I think more than ever, we know that we've all got a built up, I think, appetite for travel again. And we know that we want to do it in a way that's so special and unique. And this slow travel and this exclusive travel is so relevant for how we experience the world moving forward. And I think a lot of the people you're talking to will want to hear about it too. So work backwards, take the barge into account. We know that the flights are going to be daily and there's going to be many, and we know there's lots of hotels pre and post in Paris, but we also know, in all due respect, that these do sell out pretty quickly. And I don't want to say anything more than to help you with that, is that we've got these amazing flexible booking terms. So they do get reviewed regularly, but at the moment, if you book between now and the end of June for travel through to the end of next year and possibly beyond, you will have the opportunity to change those dates and move them forward up to 10 days before your departure. And likewise, if for sake of Australia's government not letting us travel for whatever the reason is, there are plenty of options, including a refund if we don't operate. So there's a lot of flexibility, and I won't go into too much detail, but I just wanted to highlight some of those key points, because it does give you that confidence then to take your customers to that next booking stage and get them on those journeys of a lifetime. So what I wanted to do just before we conclude today is share with you that additionally, Unique Cruises are actually going to be able to assist you with some other journeys, which are also journeys of a lifetime with Belmond. And here's a few. So to begin with, the world famous Venice-Simplon Orient Express. This iconic train really does transport you back to the golden age of travel. And there are so many options of itineraries around Europe that just really, again, really special journeys that I'd love you to consider when you are working with water. Other than that, we've also got our adventures, from exclusive castle visits and whiskey tastings, as well as meeting Highland storytellers on Royal Scotsman, which is a Belmond train in Scotland. And if for anyone who's going in and out of London, we've got our other vintage train that is really the sister of the Venice-Simplon Orient Express that does day trips. And they depart from Victoria Station, London, and that's on board British Pullman, a Belmond train in England. So for the sake of Asia, we have Eastern Oriental Express, which transports you between Singapore and Bangkok and really is a magical journey and like no other journey as well. And really, I just wanted to thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank Walter again. And I hope that this presentation has somewhat inspired you to work, with us for the sake of welcoming guests in Europe and beyond. And for the key points, just to hone in on, this exclusive travel really is flexible. It does give so many options for so many people, and really does make such a destination experience that no other way of traveling within those regional areas of France can offer you. And if you are lucky enough to be a guest, no itineraries generally on a private charter are the same, and everyone gets the best out of it that they possibly can. So we're looking forward to working with Walter and his team, of course, and looking forward to welcoming a lot more Australian guests over the years to come, because 2022 is not far away now. And realistically, these journeys are so special. So if you have any questions or booking inquiries, Walter will be delighted to help you. And if there's any questions now, I'd also be more than pleased to answer them for you as well.
Not many. I've just got some oohs and ahs, really, if they count as questions.
Thank you.
Tina Hunt said, OMG, my number one aim for selling 2022 product for Europe is Unique Cruises she says. Katie says, I'm sold. Gina Edwards says, ditto, Katie. Wayne is another OMG. He says, OMG rail.
Oh, right. Great.
I'm sold, he says. Melinda Brown says the trains are just magnificent. Have been on the Hiram Bingham to Machu Picchu, and it was amazing. Now for a cruise in Europe, I just have to choose 3 friends. I'm available.
Exactly.
Melinda. And we just double check the questions, but I don't think there's any specific questions for you about the product. But you can always, you'll be around for a little while, so if we want to do that. But thank you, Walter.
Yeah, thanks so much, Karen. And the one thing that I will say is that when we release our UK, Ireland and Italy brochure in a few weeks, it will actually feature those train trips. So we can have the combination of doing the fabulous Belmond trains combined with a luxury barge cruise as well. So for example, we can do a loop from Edinburgh on the Belmond train and come back to Edinburgh. Then we'll transfer up to Inverness and then do a 6-night, 7-day cruise down the Caledonian Canal. So yeah, that'll be pretty spectacular when you put that through.
Spectacular. Sorry, I cannot. I think going inside of Scotland and out. Sorry, Walter. I want to talk about the Caledonian cruise too now.
Oh, yeah, just sensational. And of course, the Scottish cruise is all about the Scotch, so I'm definitely in for that. But also too, coming out from London down through to Italy, and then combining up with the Italy luxury hotel barge as well. So lots of choices. Look out for our brochure coming up with that combination. So thanks so much, Karen. That was amazing.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And then we have some prizes. I think we got 3 prizes from
you.
Belmond.
Yep. Give me a moment. The drum roll while I.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it more exciting while I faff around with this. So, with luck, that's now coming up in full screen.
It is now. Yep. So the first 2 prizes are the same, which is a Belmond notebook and a Belmond umbrella with a guide as well, with the Unique Cruisers lanyard and a couple of Unique Cruisers pens. Okay.
And the winners of that, I will just double check that they're still around, is Y Wing and Tina Hunt.
Oh, well done.
Congratulations to you two. Apologies to everybody else who didn't win that, but that's cool. And there's
that one more.
Oh, is there?
One more to draw, yeah. There's one more to draw, which is a similar prize.
Hang on, I've got to put this in my random machine and come up with one. There we go. A lot of women on the call, isn't there? They keep winning as well. That's another one. Okay, so the next one, I go to the next slide, do I, Walter?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That's it, with the drinks bottle instead of the umbrella. So that's the only difference.
And that's been won by Julie Garrett.
Oh, congratulations, Julie. Well done.
Yay. Any more? Or should we?
Nope, that's it.
Back to you. Okay.
Now. Yeah. So I think that's the end of the presentations. Sorry, Richard.
Sorry. What was that, Walter?
We've come to the end of the formal presentations.
Sure.
So basically, just over the next few minutes, I'll just wrap things up. If you notice that I'm kind of looking up over this way, it's because I've got my notes on a different screen up here. For those of you who have known me over the years, I don't usually use notes very often, but there's some key points that I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of. Number one, for all the travel agents that are listening now or that are coming on the recording, the one thing that I will stress to you is that with the amount of people that I've spoken to recently, they are looking to travel, they want to travel. If you are not there to help them, they will find somebody that will. So I want to be able to work with you, and my team would like to be able to work with you to make sure we're out there and we're engaged and creating the dreams that really is what we got into travel in the first place for. We love to self-travel. We love to travel ourselves. So it's been annoying and depressing and frustrating and so many different things over this COVID period. Now it's time to look forward. And with Unique Cruisers, we are motivated. We are definitely on the move forward. And with bookings that are starting to come through, we know that people are wanting to travel. A couple of key points. One is, don't think cabin, because when you think cruise, normally think about selling cabins or maybe small groups. Think of chartering a luxury hotel cruise barge, because you only really need a couple of people, a couple of couples to get together and charter that barge, and it will change the dynamic immensely. You can basically do what you want. You can theme it. As you said, Richard, we can get you on a knitting themed cruise, or quilting, or walking, or cycling. So many different options that we can choose from. So again, have a chat to us, and we'll be able to help you out with that. One of the biggest challenges that I found people are having is trying to decide which barge, which region. I take it back a step and say, how many people are going to be traveling together? So let's start with that number. Do you need a barge for 6 people, 8 people, 10, 12? In the case of Italy, we can go up to 20 people. So make sure that you start with that number, and then we can guide you to the different regions and help you explore all the different options that are available to you. Sorry, I just saw a comment that came up, Richard. I think that's just you're smiling at. You should crochet.
Actually, my dad does crochet. Can you believe it?
There you go. We can do a crochet cruise for you.
I do not, but thank you, Karen McGee, for the comment.
Now, one of the things that both Emma and Karen talked about was the safety on board post-COVID. And on page 8 of our e-brochure, you'll actually find what we refer to as the luxury barge bubble. And it lists through some things that may be of concern for your clients that we cover off to make sure that it is a very safe experience. Remember, small numbers, you've got the whole barge to yourself. The barge is deep cleaned between cruises. This is one of the things that has really stuck out for me over this last year, is that on a normal river cruise, you've got passengers disembarking in the morning and new ones joining in the afternoon. On a luxury hotel barge, it's always starts on a Sunday, finishes on a Saturday. So it's a much smaller vessel to start with, but we also get that opportunity for the whole barge to have that deep clean between guests coming on board. Also, too, the support vehicle is also cleaned. So you know that you're coming onto a very fresh new ship, essentially, between trips. So again, very, very great for post-COVID travel. For the travel agents that are online, I know there's a lot of you on here. The best option that you can have a look at right now to start thinking about who is going to take a luxury hotel barge cruise, it's your past river cruise passengers. They're the ones that are looking for what's next. They have been looking for what's next before COVID hit. That hasn't changed. So make a list, fire up your database again, and start going through all those who've traveled on a river cruise on the Rhine, the Danube, the Seine, the Rhone and the Saône that over the last 5 years. Make that list and let's have a chat, and we'll be able to get something out to them. As I said before, the UK, Ireland and Italy brochure will be released in a few weeks, and that will include the Belmond trains as well. So a nice combination holidays there. So you can either do the train on its own, you can do the cruise on its own, or combine for these amazing, amazing packages. In a couple of months, we'll also be releasing Southeast Asia. Now that's not luxury hotel barging, that is river cruising. And but we'll also have some product up in Halong Bay as well. For those of you that know who I've represented in the past, I'll be coming back with Heritage Line and their spectacular ships up through Halong Bay and Lanhai Bay, as well as on the Mekong. We also do have options for one-on-one consultation. So if you would like to know where to go from here, I'll be sending out an email to everybody tomorrow, and then we'll schedule in time that we can sit down and have a chat and work out a marketing strategy for you. Because for most travel agents that I've spoken to, it's about rebooting your agency, rebooting your enthusiasm. Let's get out there. Let's just have so much fun. It is an outstanding program that we can capitalize on and really have some fun and drive tourism again. Now, one of the things that I've been focusing on with my team is making sure our social media, I've had to learn so much over this last year, social media, bring that online more fully. And on the 5th of May, we'll be starting up our Wine Wednesdays. And we have an old colleague that we used to work with, Johnny, who is a sommelier, and he is going to take us through some of the fantastic wine regions in France to start with and kind of expand out from there. So that'll be the first Wednesday of every month, starting on the 5th of May. So keep an eye out for that. Don't worry, I'll be throwing lots of stuff out on social media to make sure that people can come along for that. It'll be fun. It'll be informative. Johnny is not your typical sommelier with his nose stuck up in the air. He's very much more ochre, and which is why I asked him, because it'll be much more fun.
We have two people from the UK who may not know what ochre means.
Very Australian. There you go.
It means that's super. Oh yeah,
Super, yeah,
that kind of Australian.
No, more down to earth, and will make the wine tasting more relatable.
Yes.
Rather than trying to pair everything up. Because I'm going to be honest, I've done a lot of wine tasting, and I've tasted a lot of wines, but that's a different story. And most of the times I've kind of left a little bit high and dry as to what they're talking about. And occasionally you get somebody that comes along that really knows how to bring it down and relate it to your average person. So that's Wine Wednesdays. The other thing that I will say is that the Rugby World Cup is in 2023 in France. So there's two reasons I mentioned that. One is it is going to be incredibly busy in France in 2023. The Rugby World Cup is in October, so there will be massive crowds in October in France, but you'll also get those that will go before the Rugby World Cup because they want to avoid it. So make sure that if you are looking at 2023 that you do book early. We currently have 7 barges on hold for one of the companies that has tickets for the Rugby World Cup. So if you'd like to know more about that, just get in touch with me, and we'll be able to work together to get your clients, if they want to see 2 Wallabies games, and in between they do a 7-night luxury barge. And as I said, we've got 7 options of barges. Then we can certainly put them onto that. So make sure you are booking early for 2023 because it is going to be incredibly busy. 2022, depending on who you speak to, some people are positive, some are not so much. I am really pushing for anybody that wants to book from August, September, October 2022. If you feel confident booking early, the barges start in April, but really I'm taking bookings from August onwards. If things change and the borders open up sooner than I anticipate, then of course we'll bring that back and we'll offer the whole season. But we will monitor that on a day-by-day, week-by-week basis. But at this stage, I would say that I'm confident in selling from August onwards. I think that wraps it up. The only other thing to finish up with is the, if you've enjoyed the presentation, then please tell everybody. We'll be putting up the link in a moment for the actual e-brochure itself. It's 84 pages long. There's lots of good information in there. It does give the day-to-day itineraries for all the barges and all the different regions. So have a look through that. If you have any comments, then please let me know. Now, I think Jacinta has actually just put that up into the chat. Thanks, JC, for that. She's got, hi, everyone. You can review our France brochure here. And she's got the link on there. So you can all click on that link and go and have a look. Now, we do have one more prize to give away, Richard.
Do we? Okay.
So if we can...
It was a shock.
That one. Sorry, yeah, wake up.
Yeah.
It is getting late. Oh, look, it's 2 minutes to go.
Ooh.
So it should be the third to last slide, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just bear with me. Uma, I just want to know, I don't remember what you were wearing before, but you weren't wearing yellow earlier on, were you?
Good spot. No, I'm cold. And I had a European Waterways t-shirt on. I'm sat in my kitchen. It's really cold today for some reason. So I changed for the occasion.
Good on you.
Good spot.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Richard.
there's a danger of looking like, you know, like a creepy old man. But I remember, I thought she wasn't wearing yellow. Anyway, so I think hopefully that's on the screen now for you, Walter.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah.
So the final prize is a combination from Journey Beyond Cruise Sydney, and I'd have to say a huge thanks to Craig Owens, or Captain Craig, for supplying us with a lunch for 2 on Journey Beyond Cruise Sydney. And for those of you that have been on that on Sydney Harbour, it is an absolutely fantastic lunch. All the wines included, of course, and they are all locally sourced from Dalton House. The food is provided from Dalton House. Just a terrific afternoon on the harbour. So along with the lunch for 2, you get the highly sought after, very limited edition, Unique Cruises wine glasses or champagne glasses. So you get 2 of those. And if you live in Sydney, then I will deliver the whole lot to you with a bottle of Moe. If you don't live in Sydney and I have to send it to you, then I'll send you a gift card so that you can pop down to your local liquor shop and buy whatever you like and just tell me that you bought some Moe. You also get 2 Unique Cruises lanyards and 2 Unique Cruises pens as well. So thanks again to Captain Craig for supplying us with that fabulous lunch. And Richard, if you could draw the winner for that.
I've done that from all the attendees. It's Stella Vlahos.
Oh, well done, Stella.
Do we know Stella? I don't know. I haven't met Stella before. She's not a personal friend of yours, is she?
She's a friend, Richard. They're all friends of mine, you know that.
Okay, I'm just checking you're not cheating by giving it to your mate. That's all.
Well, I'm not cheating because I didn't draw it.
That's a good point.
It's Stella. Stella's in Sydney, so that there you go. Stella,
okay.
I can actually. That means I can't drink the Moe this afternoon. I can still do that.
Awkward.
Yeah.
So that's
and if you could flick up the next slide, Richard. Well done, Stella. I just wanted to say a huge thank you again to everybody that came along this evening. Thanks for all of you who are still online after 2 hours. That's amazing. But a special thank you to Karen from Belmond.
Doesn't mean they're listening, Walter.
Of course they're listening, Richard.
Yeah.
They're only just here for you, mate. Special thank you to Karen from Belmond, from Emma, from European Waterways, Adam from Qatar. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and present. Also to, again, Captain Craig from Journey Beyond Cruise Sydney for that fabulous prize. Again, a huge thank you to Sabina from the Travel Industry Network. And if you are looking at wanting to get anything done, if you're in the travel industry or pretty much any other industry, and you're wanting to get artwork done, pretty much anything, just contact Sabina and she'll be able to help you out. And a huge thank you to Richard from the Travel Community Hub. We go back a little ways, Richard, and been through a few things together, and so appreciative for everything that you've done this evening, and for hosting us.
Welcome. Thank you.
It is very difficult for me as a presenter, for all of you who are online that have seen me present, like I said earlier, for me not to talk about the product for an hour and just get more and more excited as the time goes on is very difficult to hand over the reins. So a huge thank you to everybody for participating. And again, I just want to say another huge thank you to my team, Clark and Jacinta, for all the effort that you guys have put in. It's just been absolutely amazing. It's such a delight to work with. And I can't say how much more appreciative I am of all the hours that you put in. And I think that kind of wraps it up for me, Richard. The only thing is, comments. I think the just make sure that everyone's got my contact details so that we can move forward. As I said, I will be in contact. I'll send an email out to everybody tomorrow, and we'll be able to talk one-on-one about your individual needs. One of the key components when I set up Unique Cruises was not to be all things to all people, but rather to work with those who want to drive business and to be proactive in moving sales forward. COVID hasn't changed that. I'm still interested. All of you that are online right now have shown that you have the interest and drive to be able to want to move your businesses forward. And with Unique Cruises, we will absolutely do everything in our power to be able to help to do that. And as you can see, such amazing product. So, once we get our heads around the actual concept of luxury hotel barge cruising, get that information out to your clients, and we'll be able to really start kicking some goals for 2022 and 2023.
So for those of you panelists who are working this evening, I hope you're on double time. Emma, you're probably just on normal time, aren't you? I've got a couple of comments. Walter, can you send those details on the Wallaby Games and the cruise? Says Carol Parker. She's got a couple who might be interested. And then I believe I just saw my chat function popping up. I'm just going to unshare. So was that the last slide there, Walter?
There was just one more with my contact details. That's it.
Oh,
Rich.
my mistake.
That's
okay.
It.
What have I done here?
That's it.
Okay.
Nope, you blanked
Stop
it out.
share. Oh, I've probably stuffed that up right at the
Ah,
last
it doesn't
moment. But love your work, says Gina. Marty Boris says thank you and congratulations. Looking forward to the travel industry to blossom again. I'm sure. Well, that speaks for everyone, doesn't it? The wine helped. Love Glenda, says Glenda. Thanks for a great presentation, says Tina. Thanks everyone, says Neville. Thank you, Emma, Adam, and Karen, for your informative presentations. Walter, thank you so much for this evening. Looking forward to working with you, says Deborah Moffat. Thanks, everyone, says Wayne Fountain. By the way, we're going to hang around after this. If you want to hang around and chat, and we'll just have a little, impromptu networking session. We'll open that up in just a couple of minutes. So sorry for you. It's so early in the morning, Emma. I said that was from Gina a little while ago.
Thank you, Gina.
I saw you smile at that. Wonderful presentations, says Tara. Great presentations and info, says Melinda. Walter Nand, who you may have heard of, has put his contact details in there. You'll find Walter. He's all over social media like a teenage girl. So if you haven't got Walter's contact details, there's something wrong with you. Andre Haydar says, thank you. Sorry, I missed the beginning with a sad face. Well, it's being recorded, so you will get a link in the coming days to that recording, which I may have stuffed up a little bit, but I think it's going to come in 2 parts. So that concludes that. And for anyone who would like to leave, you may leave. And if you'd like to join us for just from chatting and maybe a drink, I'm going to go and get a beer in a second, but we'll stop the recording and then everything after this is off the record. So yes, another comment coming through there, but that's it, Walter, I believe. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
And
nice to meet and see you.
Likewise.
Thank you so much.
Really grateful. So I'm stopping the recording. Goodbye, everyone. But
and if you want to hang around.
Yep. Bye-bye.
So are you just opening that up